Free Japan Channel number 8. Today, October 12th, Thursday. The time is 6 o'clock p.m. here in Yokohama. The sun has already set in the west, and the night city lights are turning on one by one. Here is autumn. Dear my friends, how are you doing? This is Matsumoto speaking. Free Japan Channel number 8. Today's topic is War broke out in Gaza. As you may know, the war broke out over last weekend in Gaza. So the south part of Israel. Hamas, the military group of Gaza, is very famous for its atrocity and tenacity. And this atrocity and tenacity was shown clearly this time in southern part of Israel. Hamas soldiers transgressed the border between Israel and Gaza, and these soldiers went to the city village and they destroyed the town buildings and killed civilians. Now, 5 days have passed since the breakout of this incident, but already more than 1,000 Israeli people were killed, according to the report, and approximately the same number of Palestinians were also killed by the air raid of Israel. Now, Israel government announced that the retaliation would be carried out in a few days. So the Prime Minister of Israel declared war, and the War Minister of Israel also declared that this is not military operation, but war, systematic war. So we should bear in mind that this war would last long. There were four times that Israel army invaded Gaza. So ground war happened 4 times. But each time, thousands of Palestinians were killed, and casualty of Israel was 20 or 30. So the kill ratio, so to speak, kill ratio is very different between that of Gaza, that of Palestinians, and that of Israel. But this time, Hamas targeted not soldiers, not Israeli soldiers, but Israeli civilians, and they didn't discriminate men and women, the old, the young, and they kidnapped more than 150 civilians from Israel to Gaza, including an old woman, and even toddler. This place, Gaza area, was made by the onset of Israel country. Before 1948, for example, 1920s, 1930s, the Jewish people came here gradually, and the Holocaust of Nazi regime accelerated the influx of Jewish people to this area. It was 1940s, but the place was originally inhabited by Palestinians, of course. And there came suddenly so many Jews. It was inevitable that the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians occurred. In 1948, Jewish people established the state, Israeli state, and this was a decisive event in this area. Many Palestinians were expelled from this area, although they have lived there for more than 2,000 years. Of course, Israeli people claimed that the area was their own land because it was written in the Old Testament, but it had nothing to do with the Palestinian Muslims. They have never read the Old Testament, and it had nothing to do with them. So, Palestinian people always thinking that they were victims and Jewish people were culprit. But from the viewpoint of Israeli people, Palestinians are brutal criminal, and they means Palestinians always attack Israel state. So Israeli people protected their country by famous Iron Dome, so sky detecting missile system, and on the ground, the Israeli army was heavily equipped with the latest technology weapon. So far, the battle between Israel and Palestine was one-sidedly on the Israeli side because the level of technology and the training of soldiers were totally different between Israel and Palestine. But now, in 2023, Hamas, the military group or military organization in Gaza, of course, of Palestinians, had so sophisticated a military plan this time to assault Israel, and they would take back to Israel even if the ground force of Israel transgressed the border to Gaza. This time, the battle would not be so one-sided. Instead, there might be some substantial retaliation from Palestine people. So the great tragedy awaits us because, as Prime Minister of Israel said, this war would last long, and many civilians of Palestinians as well as Israelis would be the victims of the battle this time. Here in Japan, I can do nothing about this incident, but I can only observe the process of battle. But this is a very historic incident. So I will share my knowledge about the report of Gaza, of Israel, of Palestine, of Iran with my listeners. Goodbye.